Peace. My name is G-Man of the Law. My artist name is P Funk City G. This is the Rebel Life, and this is my naked truth. Alright, today I'm rolling up a split. And I just want to say one thing. Me smoking ganja is not, and then I talk about the Honorable Elijah Muhammad and the law, and Elijah Muhammad, doesn't teach or condone anyone smoking weed, especially black people. You know what I'm saying? I don't want anything that I do to be a reflection on the teachings of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad, his teachings freed my mind. And I'm just grateful for every day of my life because it has brought me to where I am at today. How I think, how I move, and growing up hip hop. You know what I'm saying? It's like I just can't express what hip hop really is, because it's nothing like what is the so-called hip hop today. You know what I'm saying? The hip hop is a rebellious music. You know what I'm saying? Actually, it was young niggas rebelling against them clubhead niggas. You know what I mean? The Studio 54 scene, and everybody, trying to emulate the white way of life, and you know what I mean, and partying and drinking champagne, and sniffing cocaine in the club, and the Magic Johnson, Walt Frazier era. You know what I mean? Hip hop was anti that. You know what I mean? Hip hop was like, we don't want to wear dress shoes. You know what I'm saying? We want to, when we go to the party, we want to still, have our Adidas on, our Pumas, or our Nikes. You know what I'm saying? Sauconys, those was my joints. You know what I mean? So hip hop was for the rebellious. You know what I mean? I'm rebellious. You know what I'm saying? The thing is that not only did the teachings of Elijah Muhammad save my life, he saved the life of others. Because I wouldn't be here without them teachings. I credit two things for saving my life: homeschool and the teachings of Elijah Muhammad. Because without that, I'd be dead right now. I promise you that. I promise you that. You know what I'm saying? Or doing a life, in prison. It's what saved me and opened my mind. And how I got introduced or really started, how his teachings, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad's teaching, started saving my life and changing my thoughts, was through the book Message to the Black Man. You know what I'm saying? So I'm about to take a puff. Matter of fact, to piss niggas off, I'm gonna start opening every show with me smoking a spliff, just like this. Then I'm gonna say, here, pass it to you. You wanna smoke, you wanna smoke. You know what I'm saying? And take a couple of pills, another pull, because this is that Orange Hill. You know what I'm saying? I'm not Orange Hill, I'm sorry. Cave Mountain. You know what I'm saying? I said in other episode, Cave Hill and Orange Hill got the best, ganja.
Up in a deal, so we go plant some herb. Watch the Babylon, them a fight against the herb. I try bring in to a pot. What a deal when just say come. All the wicked have to put down them gun. Crack and coke, coffee go down. Sodom and Gomorrah, go get Babylon.
I'd like to thank everybody for their support. Whether it's just be time, whether it's 12 seconds or you stay tuned in for the whole episode. I appreciate you all. I appreciate every comment, every thought, you know what I mean, and every second of your time. And I also appreciate those who have been able to hit the, PayPal and donate to building the channel. But the thing is, I want to make it clear, is like this. I didn't really know where I was going, but I just knew years ago I had a story to be told. As far just Black American living in Jamaica. You know what I mean? Because people, Black people think that we the luckiest people in the world. You know what I mean? I remember even as a little kid looking up, playing outside, like, looking at, like, damn, like, yo, I'm so lucky. Like, imagine if I was, born in Africa. My life would probably be horrible. So I'm so glad. You know what I mean? And that's the brainwash. That's the brainwash that we've been, the Black American was the most lost person on the planet. You know what I'm saying? The most brutalized, the most raped, the most tortured, the most mentally fucked people on the planet Earth. And without the teachings of Elijah Muhammad, the Black community would be way worse than it is now, because we wouldn't have had Malcolm X. Malcolm X would have been a drug dealer, a pimp, stick-up kid, just like the average. Me, I'd have been a nigga from the, Plainfield who sold a lot of drugs, messed up a lot of lives, and like damn near everybody on my block. You know what I'm saying? Like, matter of fact, the whole Black America. And it came and then it's been proven that that was all a design. Like, we haven't recovered yet from the 80s and the what they call it now, they call it the Iran-Contra, where they were selling cocaine grown in South America, using that money to fund Iran wars through Oliver North. So I fell victim like every black man, most black men. I ain't gonna say most, a lot of black men in the 80s, the rebellious ones. You know what I'm saying? The hip hoppers. You know what I mean? And hip hop was, like I said, it was a rebellious movement, because before it was like disco music was like, like prevalent up until the mid 70s, and that's what was representing black excellence. You know what I mean? Them snobby niggas. You know what I mean? Who ain't want, certain, the teachers, you know what I mean? Politicians, and, and we know all that, watching Diddy, we know all that, go on with that the bourgeois class, the middle class. You know what I mean? It's horrible. You know what I'm saying? So, that's what I'm going to talk about today, is like, how we have been mind fucked. You know what I'm saying? And I said I was going to stop cursing because certain people, had told me I shouldn't and this and that. But it's like I'm not making a video for them. You know what I mean? I'm speaking to a small minority. And like, yeah, I got some views. Some of these videos got 3,000 views and all of that. But one thing I could count on is about 15 views on every video. 15 people and the same people that watch. So that's what I do this for. You know what I'm saying? For a small percentage of people. You know what I mean? Because hip-hop started with a small percentage. We were not the majority of what black thought. You know what I mean? We were the ones getting kicked out of school. We were the ones, talking back to the teachers and getting sent to the principal's office. You know? And I'll tell you a story about, how, crazy the system is. By the time I was in 7th grade, I was, I had like a reputation for, here, smoke. I had a reputation for, teachers hated me. You know what I'm saying? So I don't like to say I was a bad kid. People thought I was a bad kid, but it's just like, I just been honest up front. You know what I mean? And I ain't had no time for bullshit, and I have never, ever been afraid to lose a friend. I stopped fucking with a nigga. You know what I mean? I learned that from my mom, yo. My mom's been through hell with her family. You know what I'm saying? Been judged, talked about, dismissed. You know what I'm saying? So, and I'm a lot like her. You know what I mean? I don't care. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm gonna be honest. You know what I'm saying? And, honest people don't have a lot of friends. I'm not likable, but I'm respected. Niggas do not know not to test me. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not saying I'm tough. I'm not saying that at all. There's a whole bunch of niggas tougher than, trust me. I'm not saying that. You know what I mean? I'm just saying that I ain't with the BS and the phony stuff and, you know what I mean, all that stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm rebellious. I'm the one that the teachers hated. I'm one of the ones that the little smart girls hated. You know what I mean? Because I came and disrupted class. You know what I mean? I'm a disruptor. I'm rebellious. I'm the one that's going to say, yo, we're going to kill these crackers. You know what I'm saying? And I have a plan on how to do it. You know what I mean? I'm, kind of like Nat Turner. But the difference between Nat Turner, Marcus Garvey, and all of these wise black men who did a lot for our community is that they didn't have the guidance of a law through the teachings of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. Before 1930, when Master Fard came to enlighten us, we were in the darkness. America was in the darkness. So, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad created a nation, and it's called the Nation of Islam. And through that nation, he taught great men how to be great. The greatest black men in America. There's no greater black men in America greater than Malcolm X, Muhammad Ali. I would say the most respected, Malcolm X. Definitely Muhammad Ali is the greatest. But he wasn't great when he was Cassius Clay. It was the teachings of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. And then, of course, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, which I consider like a grandfather that I never had. So he's the one that, like I said, I wouldn't be here, and I've always been rebellious. And I remember 7th grade, I told the story about Mr. Lombardi, the wood shop teacher. He came to class and was like, yo, George, why, I hear people the teachers talking about you in the lounge, in the whatever, the teacher's lounge, and so he couldn't figure it out because, we got along so great, you know what I mean, and, I was so respectful, you know what I'm saying, but, a lot of them teachers, they would nag, they would, they provoke. I wasn't the person that they, wanted me to be and all of that and this and that. And it was like, yo, I told the story about, big brother of mine. He was my next door neighbor, Mr. Reed. He was the baddest man in town. As far as I knew, I never met anybody badder than him. And I've been around some, bad niggas. All around the world. Now I ain't gonna say all around the world, but from all around the world. you know what I mean? But being in the, you know, going down south, New York City, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, yo, you know, if you can make it in New York, you can make it anywhere. But anyway, he called me his main man, Mister. He called me his main man. You know, I was his main man, so I didn't care what nobody thought. You know what I mean? The baddest nigga in town called me his main man. You know what I mean? And nobody has ever made me feel so great, you know what I mean, other than him. You know what I'm saying? And he prepared me for life, you know. I remember, you know, as a little child, you know, he would take me over to Milton Place, you know what I'm saying, over the Milton Place apartments, you know what I'm saying. You know, anybody know, you know, growing up in the neighborhood, especially in the 80s, 70s, 80s, yo, the black towns was, you know what I mean, you know, the apartment buildings in black towns was hard, you know what I mean, a lot of crime, like, you know, black poor people, you know what I mean, you know, living together, and, you know what I mean, under the pressure, like, you know, the project, you know, the project, you know what I'm saying? It's that mentality, you know what I'm saying, where these kids are growing up, you know, intense, you know. Anyway, Mr. would take me over there, you know what I mean, make me fight dudes and stuff. I don't know if he was, you know, he just did it, you know what I mean. I ain't gonna even try to say why, you know what I mean, but he sharpened, you know, that shit made me sharp, you know what I mean, like, it was like, you know, pit bulls, like, you know what I mean, sit where you at, you know what I mean. And so, you know, that's where it was like, I didn't care what nobody thought, you know what I mean. As long as Mr. showed me love or loved me and like, yo, me, man, and all of that, man, I ain't care about nobody, none of y'all. No teachers, no principals, nobody, no pastors, no ministers, no elders, nobody. You know what I'm saying? He was God to me. And anybody who grew up in the hood, they got, you know what I mean, an OG like that. You know what I mean? And OG come from hip hop. And OG do not mean older gangster. It means original God or older God. That's what it means, OG. You know what I'm saying? But the powers that be in this music industry, they're the ones who corrupted every term and everything in hip hop and made it, you know, perverted. So, like I said, so I'm in 7th grade, a teacher, Mr. Weigel, you know what I mean? He had been hearing my name, you know, he was Fruity, you know what I mean? You know, the alphabet. And what's crazy to come to find out was that the teacher, Mr. Parks at elementary school, he was the music teacher, they was two, you know what I mean, two men, you know, boyfriend, you know what I mean, living in the village and coming back to, you know, teaching, being around little black kids, you know what I'm saying? But anyway, you know, he had my sister prior to me. My sister, I think stayed about 2 grades above me. And so, you know what I'm saying? So one day he was like, he called me into the cloakroom, you know what I mean? Like, yo, the first time, like, we had a conversation, he put me to the side, I was like, yo, you know, I've been hearing about you. You're like, yo, you know, I had your sister. She was a great student, you know what I mean? But, you know, I don't like what I'm hearing, you know what I mean, this and that. We're not going, you know, trying to get me to, like, be like her, you know what I mean, like a good student or whatever. But, you know, anyone there, so then, you know what I mean, so now he calls me to the cloakroom. You know what I mean? And he like, yo, I keep on hearing these things about you, and yo, you know, like, you know, you could be like a GQ model or something. You know what I mean? Like, you got, you know, a lot of potential. You know, he used to always say little shit. You know what I mean? But now that I'm older, I'm like, yo, this was out of line. You know what I mean? He said, so I don't want to hear no more about you. He said, and if I do, I keep on hearing about you. He said, I'm going to. And then he grabbed me from behind, right? And then he put his hands like, you know what I mean? Like say this is my legs, right here. He come like this, grab me like that, and then put his other arm around me, like, I'll pick you up and I'll throw you across this room. You know what I'm saying? Like, I was like, yo, that was kind of weird, you know what I mean? But I didn't know what it was until years later. Like, I was grown and I was watching Jenny Jones, and she was like, you know, that was her thing, like, you know, kids who had, like, you know, got, you know, blessed by their kids, teachers, and all of that. And so that shit brought that you know, that thing in my mind was like, yo, yeah, I remember teacher doing some, like, you know, stuff that I felt was like weird. You know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean? Like, yo, I wouldn't want somebody to do what he did to my son. You know what I mean? But my son's homeschooled, and that's a whole nother story. You know what I mean? Because, yo, we got to protect our kids. And our kids are spending most of the time in school. Most of their time is in school with these freaks that don't know nothing about our culture, don't care about us. A lot of them hate us. You know what I'm saying? And we sending them to them environments. You know, so, you know, my son's homeschooled. You know what I mean? I mean, we have two. He's older now, so he, you know, his like he dealing with mathematics that I can't even teach him now. You know what I mean? I mean, arithmetic that, you know, I can't even teach him. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, we got two math teachers, and then, you know, another teacher that teaches them like the whole, you know, the whole curriculum, you know, the science, such and such and such. But it's on our term, you know what I mean? They're tutored, they're coming into our space, you know what I mean? And I thank Allah for for being blessed to do that. You know what I'm saying? Because our children are the future. You know what I'm saying? Everything about us is you know, everything that I do, you know what I mean, man, and his mom is like for him and his sister to have a bright, and you know, and her father too. You know, for us to, you know, for the kids to have a great future. You know what I mean, and that reminds me too. I'm gonna give a shout out and a moment of respect for Mr. Growder, Damian Rich's father. Damian Rich lost his father Friday. It was either Thursday night or Friday morning. And like I said, you know, as you know, I record this on Sunday and I release it Tuesday morning. You know, I just want to, you know, give my respects to Mr. McGrowder. He's a beautiful man. You know what I mean? And I say he is because he still exists through his children. You know, they're his resurrection. And you know, I couldn't even imagine. And he was a great man. He set them up, all the kids. You know what I mean, with businesses, and you know, he got a lot of grandkids, a lot of I think he probably great grandkids too. You know what I'm saying? Beautiful man. And just, you know, rest in power, Mr. McGrowder. I love you dearly. You know what I'm saying? We call him Papa G. You know what I mean? Father G sometimes we call him too. But you know, I remember, you know, my early days working with Flex Rich at the studio, which he helped, you know, build a beautiful studio for his son, Damian Rich. Like I said, Damian Rich's studio was the hottest studio in the, you know, in Westmoreland. There was no studio better. You know what I'm saying? He had the you know, the illest producer, DJ Barry, Shelling's boss. DJ Barry, Shelling's boss. Check him out on Facebook. Send a comment, G-Man. Shout out, you know. You know what I mean? And I'm actually working hard to be able to bring him back into the fold because, you know, we couldn't get it popping at that time when we was working together at the studio because the game is different now. You know what I mean? But at that time, you still needed a distributor, which I'll talk about later in this episode. But you know, I would be working on Damian Rich projects. You know, at that time, you know, they were mostly produced by DJ Barry, and I'd be mixing them and stuff. And you know, I'd be up till like 3, 4 o'clock in the morning. Mr. Grotto would come and say, "Damn, yo, you still up? You still working?" You know what I mean? I'm like, yo, you know, this is what I do. You know what I'm saying? But you know, I love you, Mr. Grotto. Thanks for everything. And you know, we working hard to, you know, keep your name alive, and you know, keep you memory, to continue to provide strength for us in your grands. All right, so I want to talk about, right now is how in America the system has used the black woman against the black family. And this is just one instance, right? It's the education system. The education system is set up to divide us. I talked about, in a couple episodes back about how Europeans, how they see things as they divide. It's a division, right? Like food. It's, poultry, vegetables, dairy, seafood. They categorize it. We see it, as original people without their influence and their, living under their dominating colonies. We see things as one. This is all one. We are all one. Our babies, our community is one, right? So there's no individualism, no I, right? It's always we, right? And so what happened is the society now has individualized everybody, right? So there's it's the me mentality. Even when we see, like the black ghetto cats arguing and, not even ghetto cats, people, arguing over kids, it's like, that's my child, and before it was, there was a saying, it takes a village to raise a child, right? Because it was community based.
We got in trouble when we started imitating white folks. When we decided we wanted to be just like Father Knows Best. We wanted to have us a nuclear family. Don't you put your hand on my child. What you mean, your child? This child has a need. This is our child. This child is in trouble. This is our child. This child has the need to be educated. This is our child. And as long as we thought that way, we were all right. But when it became mine, and when you begin to pull back into these little insulated enclaves locked up in your apartment with your own biological kin, then you started developing some real problems. Because when we were a community, there was no such thing as father absence. Because as long as there was a man anywhere, there was a father around somewhere. As long as there was. No such thing as orphans. Children were always absorbed back into the community, because even if mama and biological daddy died, somebody had a love for those children, would bring those children in, and they'd be a part of the community.
Right? So when I go outside, and if my mom's is not, she going, work or handling business or whatever, and I'm doing wrong, my neighbor is gonna say, yo, you bugging, stop it. You know what I'm saying? And that's going now, because everybody is individual. Everybody going to their own house. Back in the days, we used to be outside playing, and you know what I mean? Like, it'd be maybe 30, 40 kids on the block outside. You know what I mean? It's like I said, like back in the days, the girls would do drill teams. So you'd have maybe like 80 kids on the side of the block. You know what I mean? And when they do practicing their drill team, we'd be sitting. And then it's like, and if we wasn't on the street, we was in somebody's backyard, throwing the ball, playing basketball. You know what I mean? And then like with the hip hop, you know what I mean? Like, I've had DJ equipment as far as I can remember, but at least at least 12 years old. It might be a little bit earlier than that, but I've been DJing since I was, at least 12 years old. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, so now we got ciphers. We all listening to music together. And we all, you know, most of us had the same, like, we all love the same rappers. You know what I mean? KRS, Big Daddy Kane, Cool G Rap. You know what I mean? So it was like, you know, now people don't even listen to music together anymore. You know what I mean? Like before, unless you're in a car, you know what I mean? But like most of the time that people listening, they listen to the music by themselves. You know what I mean? And that hip hop was based on people coming to the park to listen to the music. And like I said, DJ Cheese and myself, we were doing hip hop in Plainfield. I mean, he was doing it before me. You know what I mean? But once we linked up, like, you know, we were doing it all over the place, and you know what I mean? Taking, you know, like, you know, taking speakers, records, record players, renting out a spot, putting it in there, setting up something out the door, and having somebody taking the money. You know what I mean? And how we would get the people there, we'd go print up some flyers, you know, the papers 5 by 11. Sometimes we cut them in 4s, and we'd go to high schools and pass them out 3 weeks before the event. You know what I mean? And we did this, you know what I mean? Cycle. So it was about, you know, getting a whole bunch of people together and listening to the hottest rap records. You know what I mean? And we go, you know what I mean? We go to South Jersey, Red Bank, all of these places, and you know what I mean? Do the same thing. You know what I mean? And Jeezy had the hottest record, one of the hottest records, King Cut. You know what I mean? So, but it's like, yo, I ain't gonna front. He didn't even play his own, you know what I mean? It was like, you know, he was playing like the latest, hottest joints. You know what I mean? But, you know, like my biggest like memories was like when South Bronx came on by KRS. You know what I mean? And, you know, like the whole crew would be like, Plainfield. You know what I mean? So, you know, it was crazy. It was beautiful. Now it was, yo, nobody ever got shot at any of our parties. No fights got shut down because we had security. You know what I mean? The whole that. Now, like, these guys, like, getting killed. Like, you know, like, I think Scott Rock was the first, you know, like, person in hip-hop. Like, you know, because he was KRS DJ and producer. He was the first, you know, murderer in hip-hop. You know? But, you know, 96... 97, that's when like the real hip hop died. After Biggie and Tupac died, right? Then it was like everybody after that was controllable. Before 96 and 97, we controlled hip hop. I mean, you know, the banks controlled it to a certain extent, but hip hop was mostly independent labels. So they didn't even understand hip hop. They were just like, okay, we're gonna give you some money, go into the studio, and then the white boy is gonna record everything and do everything you need to do, but you just tell him what you need done, and we're gonna mix it, we're gonna package it, and we're gonna put it out through the distribution. And that was, you know, how the game was. But as it got to the majors and the formulas were understood by the Europeans, now they wanted to start taking control of the subject matter. So now, by the 90s, like early 90s, it started becoming negative, right? No disrespect to NWA and the West Coast and Dr. Dre and all of that, but that's when, like, a negative lifestyle was presented, right? A negative lifestyle, meaning they introduced gang banging life. Before, like, when it was in New York, it was Islam, 5%ers or street smart guys, but most of the dudes had knowledge of self. You know what I'm saying? And if they didn't have no knowledge of self, they knew somebody who had knowledge of self. You know what I mean? And the knowledge reigned supreme. KRS-One, right? KRS-One, the hottest rapper, his name was Knowledge Reigned Supreme. You know what I mean? Now these dudes is little this and, you know what I mean, baby that. Like, they don't want to be men. They just want to be children. My generation, we wanted to be men. We wanted to, you know, get a crib, rent it out. You know what I mean? Because we weren't even thinking about buying a house at that time. You know what I mean? But anyway, Dr. Dre and them introduced the the gangster lifestyle. And then around 92, 93, 94, Puff introduces the middle class lifestyle. You know what I mean? Poppin' Mo, Versace, Italian designers, because we would wear certain things before that, but it was more masculine. It wasn't even a lifestyle of like drinking champagne. You know what I mean? Like we drink like Moet on special occasions, chilling with the chicks or something just to blow their mind. But we were drinking, sipping liquor. You know what I mean? I've never really been a drinker because my grandfather, was an alcoholic, and my mom used to always tell a story. So I never really liked liquor. You know what I mean? Like I always liked to be in control. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, it was Puff and Dre introduced the negative lifestyle that they were promoting, right? Because before, if you got to remember, before 90s, you had Public Enemy, Brand Nubian, what's the guy from Queens? Tragedy. Big Daddy Kane, Eric B. Rakim. Like, everybody had knowledge of self. Now everybody want to be dumb and ignorant. That's not hip hop. You know what I mean? The Sexy Reds and all of that, it's not hip hop. You know what I mean? Lil Durk and them, Reese, not hip hop. And I love them. I love what they doing. It's something different. Like I said, one of my favorite rap songs, trap songs from Chicago, to me, is FBG Duck. The song, some Dead Bitches. Yo, that's one of the hardest songs I ever heard. Like I remember when KRS dropped, and he dropped I say it's 3 songs that, you know what I mean, for me, that was just like, it set a tone, you know what I mean? That was KRS, Criminal Minded, I forgot the other one I was gonna say, but then the third one is Dead Bitches. You know what I mean? Like, I remember when KRS dropped that record, Criminal Minded. Like, I was staying at the, matter of fact, Jesus had just moved down to the West 3rd, 962. I was still on the East End. And, but we had all the equipment at his house. Well, it was his equipment, you know what I'm saying? And, but, we were just chilling, you know what I mean? And listening to music, because I just loved to, just sit there and listen to him, not even watching him, just listen. I love music, you know what I mean? And he loved playing music, you know what I mean? So I was like, he vibing out, but I just remember him listening, he was cutting and scratching and all that. I'm just staring at that Criminal Mind album, like, damn, that, you know what I mean? Because that's the first time that it was like, like 2 niggas, like with a gun, and, you know what I mean? It was like hip-hop was, on to a next level. KRS took hip-hop to another level. You know what I mean? And Dead Bitches by, FBG Duck. Amazing. And he, like the video, he performed the heck out of that song. It was amazing. Amazing. And, unfortunately, like a lot of them dudes, I love the Chicago sound, but it's detrimental. It's killing the babies. It has destroyed hip hop. Has after the 90s destroyed the black community. You know what I'm saying? It destroyed it. Like the crack epidemic. It was like the drugs of the 90s, the cocaine and the heroin. I mean the 80s, cocaine and the heroin was a physical addiction. Put us through hell. And the selling the crack and heroin was as addictive as taking it. you know. But then the music became the physical change on our brain, you know, and it's teaching these young boys how to be men, you know, through this, like, you know, the nonsense that they're hearing and how to solve a problem with the, you know what I mean, and, you know, it's like, yo, all of them dudes, except Chief Keef, is in the, you know, doing it big time, big. You know, it's like they say, you could take the child out the hood, but you can't take the hood out the child. You know, and you know it's unfortunate because you know that's everything that the honorable Elijah Muhammad taught us. You know what I mean? It's like, you know, and also peace to peace and blessing. May he rest in peace. Allah, the father of the 5% nation. You know what I mean? He had a born day yesterday. I think they say he would be 97. But those two men, without them, hip hop wouldn't exist. And it was a rebellious movement, you know. And I've always been rebellious, you know, always been, and never been afraid to lose a friend. You know what I mean? But a lot of niggas, they, you know, like they put up with a lot of bull BS with their friends. You know what I mean? I don't. You know what I mean? Like, you do something I like, you my day one. You know what I mean? You know, and I've been cut off from some niggas. You know what I mean? From day one. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, that goes both ways. Like, real niggas just going, you know what I mean? He cut you off. You know what I'm saying? You know, and you're lucky to leave with your life. You know what I'm saying? But you know, that's you know, hip hop, you know. But getting back to the educational system, and the point of the story is how they use the education system to destroy the black woman, is because black women are in the black community, black women own and have achieved 70% of the master degrees, doctorate degrees, and the upper degrees. You know? So these women are finishing school, like the doctorate is what, about 12 years, 8 to 12 years? You know, master is about 6 years, 6 to 8 years. So there's 12 years. So they're like in school from probably the time they like graduate between 17 and 18, then they go to college. Then they go out of college, they focus on their career. So they're in school at the best time for them to be raising children. And so what happens is they're getting out of the, you know, get out of school, then they focus on their career. Let's say if they focus on their career for 4 years. They're 28, 30, 32 years old, you know, after college, getting a career going, and now they're looking for a husband. And so now, but they're not wifey material by then. They've been living on their own, acquired assets, and so it's me. You know what I mean? So it's like, and it's like, if it's not just me, it's me and my kids. So now it's like, yo, the whole percentage of people, you know what I mean, the dating pool is down, you know. But let's keep it with the educated women, you know what I'm saying? So that educated women, they're not having kids, they're putting off things for, you know, until later. And like, you know, let's be honest, like a 32-year-old woman is not as attractive as a 19-year-old, 20, 21-year-old. You know what I mean? And, you know, definitely not like a 24, 25-year-old. No competition. You know what I mean? And after 25, you know, she's not as attractive. You know what I mean? And, now, and a lot of times pick up trauma by that time. So And this is all by design, and it starts in the school system, because most kids, most black men, especially rebel niggas like me, we hate school. Now, if you one of the alphabet boys, and you know what I mean, and you know, broken wrist boys and all of that, then yeah, you're gonna do fine in school. You're not a threat. Matter of fact, you'll have more rights and more power and a bigger microphone than, you know what I mean, somebody like me. Because it ain't that many needs, you know what I'm saying? Like, yo, it ain't really that many cats who have been through what I've been through. You know what I mean? It's a small percentage, like they say, it's only a small percentage of real niggas. You know what I mean? Like, you know, like thoroughbreds. I ain't talking about niggas that like walking around with guns. That's not a real nigga. But I'm talking about just naturally an alpha. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, the one who will be planning a rebellion. You know? And that's what hip hop is. And they took that power in the 90s. Suge Knight talks about a meeting that, you know, he had the interview on Art of Dialogue this week. He was talking about how you know, Puffy and Jay-Z told their masters about the secret meeting that they had. It was who was it? Let me get the names right. Okay, I don't see the names, but it was Irv Gotti, Rap-A-Lot, Jay Prince, Suge, Dame, Puff, Jay-Z, and there was a few others, you know, and they came to the game they scheduled the meeting, emergency meeting, to talk about distribution, because distribution is the key to the game. The person who distributes the record makes the most money. That's what makes the most money. And at that time, they were selling plastic CDs. So, and the CDs were going for about $20. You know what I mean? So, and artists were only getting 4 cents on that $20. You know what I mean? It's crazy. Even with like Spotify and Apple right now, it's like they're all digital, so there's no way to find out what actually they're making off of the music. You have to take their word for it. You know, like I said, I've been doing hip hop, you know what I mean, since I can remember in Jersey, you know, and we would sell CDs, and like, you know, like I said, I would hit each spot. So I had about 4 or 5 spots in Plainfield. So I'd drop off 15 here, 15 there, like Rob's stores, Shakur's, barbershops, and so I would give them $5. You know what I mean? Sell it $10, but $10. So I'm doing a 50% deal with them. You know what I mean, with distributor, you know, and but it was making good money. Like, you know what I mean. At that time, like, the key wasn't about the platinum. It was about selling at least 100,000 records, because if you're selling an album for $10, right? You're selling an album for $10, and you only sell 100,000 copies. You made $1 million. You know what I mean? You netted $1 million. From $100,000 sale, a $10 sale of 100,000 units. So the whole game is the distribution. You know, the distribution is what everybody is after. That's the control, and they want to take that from us, and that's why they're able to control and prop up artists like Sexy Red, Meg Thee Stallion, and others. You know what I'm saying? Even the drill rappers, you know what I mean? The niggas that's, going around talking crazy and killing up and, you know what I mean, doing biz and, you know what I mean, taking lean and all of that stuff. You know what I mean? That's all by design, you know? So, to tie it back to the theme is that if we have more black women with authority positions, mayors, prosecutors, and heads of home, why is the black community worse than it has ever been? Why is it the worst it has ever been? Because the earth don't compare to the sun. The sun is the center of the universe. So if the sun is not in the center of the universe, meaning he's not the main provider of that home, then his powers is diminished. Now, if you Google, by 2030, only 46% of black women are going. 46% of black women are going to be childless in America. And that's what it's all about. To stop us from reproducing. Because the black population is constantly producing. The brown population is constantly growing and producing. The Caucasian population is standing still. There's no more white people today than there was 3 years ago. So they have to stop us. That's why there's so many things to kill us. They're living longer than us in America. Because we eating ourselves to death and working ourselves to death. And then when it's time to retire, we retiring in bad health. Under the care of doctors. With mad prescriptions. This is by design. And it goes back to, what's that law? The law of triangles. What's the guy's name? Starts with an M. I'll put it up there. But the thing is about the things that's most important, right? The law of hierarchy, and then the hierarchy of needs. Maslow's theory of the hierarchy of needs. And we start off at the bottom, and the bottom is the basic need is air. Right? So when we don't have air, oxygen, nothing else matters. Nothing else matters. Not tomorrow, not last week, just right now. Getting air. Okay? Second level is once we get air, now we can focus on food, clothing, and shelter. Now, when we're at that level where we don't have enough food, clothing, and shelter, all we think about is food, clothing, and shelter. Just think about a homeless person. When the person is homeless, all they're thinking about is where they're going to sleep tonight comfortably. Now, once that level of needs is met, then that person can start thinking about tomorrow. Getting a better job so that I can start building. Or getting an education or a trade so I can start building. Then once we get to that level, then we start thinking about, okay, let me start investing some of this money, 20 years it's gonna pay off, and I gotta get a hobby. I'm gonna teach myself how to play guitar. He started playing guitar, and, you know what I mean? Like, just doing things that are more fulfilling. And then once we get that level under us, then we start worrying about our spirituality, growing spiritually, one with the planet, them ting there. So what happens is, most of us don't get to that top level. We're only worried about food, clothing, and shelter. And how do they keep us on that level? They keep us on that level by keeping us broke. And how they keep us broke is by keeping us economically and financially illiterate. We make $100, but we spend $200 because we got a credit card. So not only are we broke, we're creating debt that has to be taken care of before we can proceed further. So we're basically getting by. And how they keep us in debt is by making it seem like we need whatever we don't have. If we don't have a car, we want a Honda. When we get the Honda, it got us thinking about getting a Mercedes. And we all want that Phantom, that Rolls Royce, Bentley. You know what I'm saying? They always want us wanting more of material things. And the material things are not satisfying, so we become stressed and need to go see the doctor or a therapist because we're unhealthy mentally as well as physically. And all of this starts in elementary school when we send our kids for 8 hours a day to the system of education. And that's why, we have to educate our kids ourselves. As simple as that. In the Nation of Islam, they have universities. I forget what they call them. The Islamic universities. I'll put the name up, researching when I'm editing this video. But we have to teach ourselves and our children to be independent. Teach them about spirituality, not spirituality that is older than 2,000 years. What they call the old time religions. And that's why I'm thankful to the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, who taught us Islam. And not just any Islam, but the Islam that's older than the sun, moon, and stars. I'm gonna leave it there. Thank you for your time. I was expecting to make it, a short video, but like I say before every video, Allah guide my words. Love, peace, and happiness.
Chant a psalm, skip Eden away. Cause this a youth and I have time to play. Every morning me wake up, me pray. Chant a psalm, skip Eden away. What a day when just say come. All the wicked have to put down them gun. Crack and coke, coffee go down. Sodom and Gomorrah go get boom down. What a day when just say come. All the wicked have to put down them gun. Crack and coke, coffee go down. Sodom and Gomorrah go get boom down. Babylon, send out all them troops. Figure shoot all the innocent youth. Left the poor people life in a misery. Jah know so we now make them mash up with country. Down in a the ghetto, no money now run. Black people that suffer, can't get no herb. Up in a the hills so we go plant some herb. Watch the Babylon, them a fight against the herb. I try bring in coke, but what a day when Jah say come, come. All the wicked have to put down them gun. Crack and coke, coffee go down. Sodom and Gomorrah go get Babylon, send out all them troops. Figure shoot all the innocent youth. Left the poor people life in a misery. Jah know so we now make them mash up with country. Down in a the ghetto, no money now run. Black people that suffer, can't get no herb. Up in a the hills so we go plant some herb. Watch the Babylon, them a fight against the herb. I try bring in coke, but what a day when Jah say come, come. All the wicked have to put down them gun. Crack and coke, coffee go down. Sodom and Gomorrah go get what a day when Jah say come, come. All the wicked have to put down them gun. Crack and coke, coffee go down. Sodom and Gomorrah go get boom down. My mother wipe the tears from out your eyes. For the 9 months you carry me inside. And all the dignity and all the pride. Mama said me nah go make you look low. Cause me remember one time when we the inna the ghetto. Nothing nah go on but me have to make a maker. Before the sun down me will shine. Mama just put on the pot because the food have to boil. What a day when Jah say come, come. All the wicked have to put down them gun. Crack and coke, coffee go down. Sodom and Gomorrah go get boom down. What a day when Jah say come, come. All the wicked have to put down them gun. Crack and coke, coffee go down. Sodom and Gomorrah go get boom down.
P Funk City G.